This podcast is part of the It Was a Thing on TV podcast network.
Here. You see, we have been cutting our pies into 6 pieces. But now, we are going to cut our pies into 8 pieces.
That's the big news that you have for us.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, Mel. For you, but not for us. We want more money.
You want more money? You got it. Same pie. Same price per piece. More servings, more tips.
You turnip.
What's with the bird brain? Oh, I also want to tell you, I'm thinking about watering down the chicken soup.
How? You already use chicken like a tea bag now.
Look, I'm doing it for you.
Mel, would you like to do something for me?
Yeah, what?
Kiss my grits.
Rest in peace to the original Flo, Polly Holiday. An anthology on the bad, the short-lived and forgotten shows and events in television history. You are listening to It Was a Thing on TV.
Now, Shotty LaRue from my son's favorite show on CBS, which was just picked up again, Frank's Place.
Episode 581, submission number 236. It's Not Easy. It's Not Easy aired on ABC from September 29th to October 27th of 1983 for 10 episodes, 5 of which went unaired.
Apologies in advance. Sorry about the tape hiss. This was the best quality version of the opening that we could find on YouTube. So, here you go.
I'm going to try to make a long story short. The Jack long story. Jack was once married to Sharon. But now Sharon is married to Neil. Neil has an ex-wife who couldn't make the wedding. Sharon was so sorry. Neil's best man was his son, Matthew. Sharon and Jack have 2 beautiful kids, Carol and Johnny. Jack is just getting to know Neil, but he already thinks a lot of him. Neil thinks a lot of Jack, too. That's lucky, because Neil and Sharon live across the street from Jack. So the kids can go back and forth, as can Jack's mother, Ruth. She moved in with Jack to help keep things under control. Well, it's not easy.
Wow. A show with Bert Convy and The White Shadow had 5 episodes that went unaired?
Crazy. Nobody wanted to watch Bert Convy marry the girl from Best of the West after she broke up with White Shadow. It was one of those expository opens. Not much needs to be explained further, but we're just going to try and give it the old JG9 context treatment right here. We're still in that early 80s sort of oeuvre where we're trying to find the next great family sitcom with a family unlike any other. Divorce was going up, but not only was divorce going up, remarriage was going up. So what happens when we have a broken home and then broken kids in the broken home, and now they're all moving together on the same street?
What? What kind of madness is this, Chico?
That's not easy.
Well, it's in the show, Chico. It's not easy.
And the thing of it is, this show had a really good pedigree to it. The creator was a lady by the name of Patricia Nardo, who came as a writer, one of the main writers of Rhoda, one of the biggest spin-offs in television history, if you ask me. Now, Sharon got the kid in the divorce, but due to a special arrangement, the kid can come and go as he pleases. That special arrangement being Jack and Sharon living across the street from each other. Not too long after the divorce, Sharon marries Neil Townsend. And all of a sudden, her 2 kids and his 1 kid have become a family. So where does this leave Jack Long? Well, to make ends meet, he invites his mother to live with him.
What?
His mother.
Why would his mother come live with them?
My guess, stability. Jack needs some help with the rent or the mortgage because it's the 80s. I don't know.
I can't believe I'm adding this in post, but Chico and Greg totally missed that she was there possibly to pay the rent. I think we need a Crystal Bernard in here.
I want to see rent.
The crazy thing is, now they're all neighbors. Isn't this fun?
Sure.
That is the correct reaction, by the way, Mike. I'm sorry.
Mike?
Mike's not here yet. Try that again. That is the correct.
No. We're keeping that in. Mike, you're editing this. Keep that in, please.
We have on this little street corner symphony that we call a sitcom. Well, let's start with Jack Long. Jack Long is played by White Shadow himself, Ken Howard.
How many entries have we talked about Ken Howard in on this show?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Because wasn't he in the Colbys?
We talked about him in the Colbys. He was in all 20 episodes.
And we talked about him in Superdome. So that's 2. So this is at least 3.
And he was one of the many faces in the hotel episode.
Oh, yeah. That's right. So that's 4 now for Ken Howard, at least.
Ken Howard is the main character in this crazy sitcom. His ex-wife, Sharon Long Townsend, played by Carleen Watkins, who we talked about on Best of the West. We also talked about her on Bob and in one episode of Baby Talk. So this is 4 for her, too. Jack and Sharon, they divorce, and Sharon remarries Neil Townsend, played by Bert Convy. If I'm not mistaken, he was either doing this between Tattletales and Super Password or on the tail end of Tattletales.
Well, the 80s run of Tattletales went from 82 to 84, so...
Yeah, and he jumped to Super Password right after that. So he was doing this on the tail end of Tattletales.
Now I have a question. During the wedding vows, did he prematurely say, I do?
Do you, Neil Townsend, take this woman to be your lawfully? I do.
Now, to explain this, Bert Convy on Super Password would always give away the password accidentally. Almost always.
Had this really bad habit. He just took a look at his screen and just went, sunshine. Oh.
Oops.
Cue the producers going absolutely crazy, throwing out the puzzles, slapping the new one in.
Those poor puzzle makers on Super Password had to work overtime.
Oh my God.
Just in case Bert accidentally gave away 20 puzzles a show.
The good news is he never did it during the Super Password round. If he did it during the Super Password round, that would just be chaos.
Oh, just imagine, like, there was a $35,000 password bonus round, and he just accidentally says all the passwords.
I think he had to have, like, huddled up near the contested area while they're doing their thing, and then Howard Felsher or Andy Felsher or one of the Felshers would be like, okay, Bert, you can come out now.
And Howard said to himself probably, and I thought dealing with Richard Dawson on Family Feud was bad.
Some would argue that Carleen Watkins married up in marrying Bert Convy because has a teenage son named Matthew, played by Billy Jane. This was during his Billy Jacoby phase. And we all remember Billy Jane as one of the guys on Parker Lewis Can't Lose.
Yes.
But what if Parker Lewis went up against Batman, though?
Oh, Parker Lewis would beat the shit out of Batman. He can't lose, Chico. It's in the title of the show. Parker Lewis can't lose. If he went up against Superman, Superman wouldn't stand a chance against Parker Lewis.
How about Parker Lewis versus Green Lantern?
Oh, Parker Lewis would easily beat Green Lantern.
Parker Lewis versus Aquaman.
Oh, he'd probably drown Aquaman because he can't lose.
How about Parker Lewis versus evil Parker Lewis?
Oh, good Parker Lewis would beat evil Parker Lewis because evil Parker Lewis, he can't win. So that's the opposite of Parker Lewis because he can't lose.
The two kids that Sharon got in the divorce, they were slightly younger than Matthew. We have, I guess she would now be the middle child of the group, Carol, played by Rachel Jacobs. She was in several episodes of Growing Pains, but everything else was just guest spot here, guest spot there. But she was in 12 episodes of Growing Pains from 1986 to 1988. She is still active because she is in a 2023 Goosebumps release, Night of the Oh my God. Night of the Living Dummy 3.
Oh, yeah. Slappy's back for revenge.
Slappy still wants to know who the daddy is. Carol's little brother, Johnny, played by Evan Cohen. We actually talked about him before. He was in all 28 episodes of The Ropers. But this is about as far as his career goes because, like we said in The Ropers, I believe his last role was in 1999's Summer of Sam. And rounding out the cast as Ruth Long, Jack's mother, the legendary Jane Meadows. All you have to say is the Honeymooners.
Yes. To the moon, Alice.
But we're not really done with the cast yet because there's actually a really interesting story about how all of these pieces got into play. This show almost went on air in the fall of 82 after being picked up in the spring of 82. In the original pilot, playing Jack Long was Gerald McRaney, Simon and Simon, Major Dad. At this point, he was in Simon and Simon. Playing Neil Townsend would be Larry Breeding.
Who the hell is that?
Larry Breeding was in The Last Resort, 3 episodes of Laverne and Shirley, 11 episodes of Who's Watching the Kids.
Isn't it the revamped version of Blansky's Beauties?
That would be the one, yes. He was also on a couple of previous entries, The Bad News Bears and Man from Atlantis. Gerald McCready signed on for It's Not Easy when he believed, mistakenly, that Simon and Simon was going to get canceled by CBS.
Well, let's be clear here. It was the 1981-82 season. And really, like, the only hits CBS had that year were Falcon Crest and Simon and Simon. But I don't think Simon and Simon the first year was like a big hit or anything. Because those were the only 2 shows, I think, that were picked up for the 82-83 season.
There was one other hit that CBS had.
Was that
Dallas.
Now, hold on. I want to be clear here. I said 2 shows for the 81-82 season made it back to the fall schedule for CBS in 82-83. I stand corrected. Technically, it's 3. Walt Disney.
Yeah, but Walt Disney's been on for frickin' ever, though.
I know, but it was a new show in 81-82 on CBS.
Okay. CBS picked up Simon and Simon, and all of a sudden Gerald McCready was unavailable for It's Not Easy. So they ended up going with Ken Howard in the role. They were ready for the 82-83 season, but on September 28th, 1982, before they could shoot a second pilot, Larry Breeden was killed in a car accident on the Hollywood freeway.
Oh, now I feel horrible for saying who the hell he was. Okay, well.
Well, he didn't have much of a career because his life was cut short, and it was very sad.
Now I know. I'm sorry about that.
So after a delay of a few more months, producers went with Bert Convy. That would mean that the show would miss the 82-83 season, but we would have plenty of time to get it scheduled for the 83-84 season. Where would you put it? Well, we'll talk about that in due course, but right now, let's talk about the 5 episodes that did air of this show. The first episode is the pilot, where Jack sets up residence across the street from his ex-wife in an effort to stay involved in his children's lives. Episode 2, did he or didn't he?
Well, wait. Did you say did he?
Did he?
Oh. I was worried that, was he having those parties like 30 years early and we didn't know?
Sharon is shocked to learn that Neil spent the night in his ex-wife's home. No notable names in terms of cast, but interesting notes about the writers. The episode was written by Anne Convy and Mitzi McCall. Mitzi McCall, Charlie Brill's wife. Anne Convy, Bert's wife. Episode 3. Oh my god.
Oh, what is it? I don't think it could be any worse than episode 2's title.
Jack kills Sharon's grandmother. So that's where It's Always Sunny from Philadelphia gets their esoteric episode names from. No. Sharon's grandmother is coming to visit, but she's unaware that her granddaughter has a different husband. Sharon fears her disapproval, so she talks Jack into pretending to still be her husband, to disastrous results. Or, as we like to say around here, hilarity ensues. Playing said grandmother, lady by the name of Eve Smith. She played an elderly patient in the feel-good film of 1986, Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home.
Was she the woman who got that kidney from Dr. McCoy?
Probably. She's just credited as elderly patient. So it would not shock me if she was the recipient of Bones' kidney.
No, it wasn't his kidney. He had a pill that gave her a kidney.
Yes. He had a pill, brought it from the 24th century himself. Or was it it's the 23rd, my mistake. Gave her a new kidney. Boop. New kidney.
And doctors were like, how did this happen? Oh!
Episode 4, Betrayal. Sharon has a personal conversation with ex-husband Jack, then reveals all to current spouse Neil. Jack gets angry, not comprehending that the rules have changed regarding sharing information. And then we have the last episode that aired, Teachers' Pets. Sharon thinks that their son's progress in school could be due to Jack's relationship with the teacher. Gives new meaning to the term hot for teacher now, does it? The teacher, unnamed in IMDb, played by Marilyn Jones, who was in 2 episodes of Quantum Leap as one character, Sissy Davis, in 1991.
Which episodes of Quantum Leap?
There was be season 4, episode 2, Play Ball, August 6, 1961, and episode 3, Hurricane, August 17th, 1969. So I'm guessing she appeared in the ending post-Leap clip.
In Play Ball.
Yes. You know, right before Scott Bakula says, "Oh boy."
Executive producer Donald Bell saw it.
She was in 2 other series for quite longer. King's Crossing in 1982 and Secrets of Midland Heights in 1980 and 1981. And she played a waitress on an episode of The White Shadow.
Oh, so it's a reunion with Ken Howard.
That's it for episodes that did air. My Dinner with Andrea, Taking Sides, All Night Long, Neil Kills Johnny's Fish, and You Made Her Love You were produced but never aired, so much as our research can confirm. It didn't air either overseas or domestically and is considered by most to be lost media. And I can tell you exactly why. Looking at the schedule, they placed It's Not Easy Thursdays at 9:30, right after 9 to 5, and right before 2020. 9 to 5, if I'm not mistaken, going into its 2nd season on ABC. On the other channels, we have CBS airing the second half of Simon and Simon, and NBC airing season 2 of Cheers.
And this is when Cheers is starting to become a successful show, because in year 1, it really was not a successful show. It was popular with critics, but audiences hadn't discovered it yet. And I think it was around season 2 when audiences finally began to discover, oh yeah, this show is very good.
I think once NBC decided to replace We Got It Made in the 9 o'clock half hour with Cheers, that's when it really took off.
Yeah, because I think we mentioned it when we discussed We Got It Made way back when, about 5 years ago.
Against Simon and Simon, and even a Cheers that's still starting to find itself, you're not going to do pretty well. There were 101 shows that aired in the 83-84 season. Take a guess where It's Not Easy landed.
65th?
Lower.
69th?
Nice. Lower.
73rd?
Still lower.
78th?
87th.
Oh my god.
Ratings were absolutely terrible. The writing was there. I mean, the acting, well, I can't really fault the acting because they were working off of contingencies and whatnot, and the writing was there, but the viewers weren't. So halfway through the run, ABC decided It's Not Easy was not worth keeping, and they canceled it, with the remaining 5 episodes never to see the light of day. And as I said before, considered by most to be lost media. The 5 episodes that did air, on the other hand, are available to stream right now for free on YouTube. Give it a look, form your own opinion. The show itself was not bad. ABC just didn't know what to do with it, you know what I mean? this would just be a minor blip in the careers of those involved. I mean, Ken Howard, go on to the Colbys. Bert Convy, he's 1 year away from Super Password. And in that period, he would also cement his legacy with Win, Lose, or Draw, not just as a host, but as a producer, thanks to well-powered best friend Burt Reynolds there. Nobody's career was damaged by this show. It didn't really stick around long enough to have a chance to damage anybody's career. Carmen Finestra went on to a show on NBC that would also air on Thursday nights. Gary Cott, same deal.
He's referring to the Mr. Black Show. There were a lot of good shows that aired on Thursday nights on NBC. Just wanted to clarify.
I'm trying to find the nicest thing I could say about It's Not Easy, but like many shows on this podcast, it was aired, it was canceled, and it was forgotten almost entirely in the same breath. It's not easy to make the next great family sitcom, as this show proved. It had some promise, but then it went through recasting, necessary recasting, mind you. And unfortunately, when ABC didn't know what to do with it, it just became a thing on TV.
You can find us at our website, itwasathingontv.com, on Facebook at It Was a Thing on TV podcast, and elsewhere at It Was a Thing on TV. You can find us on any podcast player, and we're also on YouTube, where you can subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with our releases, including what's coming up next time.
Greg, have you ever heard of the Red Ball Express?
No.
It's a real thing. It happened during World War II. It was a convoy of African American soldiers carrying munitions from Normandy to the front lines. Very instrumental in the Allied victory in World War II. And yet the producers of MASH decided, hey, this could be funny. We're going to talk about it next time right here on It Was a Thing on TV. For Greg.
And for me, Mike, as well.
I'm Chico. Thank you ever so much for listening. Please be kind to one another, and we will see you for the next one.
Wow! Well, Chico, man, I can't wait for that next episode. Wait, Mike, where have you been the last two episodes? Mike.
In case I haven't mentioned it, the school that I'm at this year is one of the big football powerhouses in the city of Cleveland, and they played a couple of games in the last week. They played it on last Friday the 5th, and they played tonight the 12th. And they also played two previous games this season, but I wasn't driving an hour to go to the first game, and I definitely wasn't driving 2.5 hours each way to go see the second game, which is down in Columbus. But the last two games have been closer to home, and they do better the further they are away from Cleveland. Let's say that.
Okay. Hey, Mike, want to see a trick?
L. The two losses. So they're 2-2. Do I want to say a big trick?
You want to see a trick?
The last time I heard that, I was propositioned, and that was not cool. Wrong type of trick. I'm sorry. Wait a second. Is that Nicolette Sheridan speaking of tricks? No, never mind.
No. Here's the trick. I'm Bert Convy. Now I'm Ken Howard. Bert Convy, Ken Howard. Bert Convy, Ken Howard.
Now let me explain this joke, okay? Chico's Zoom background pick was something that I suggested when we saw the opening for It's Not Easy of the clip where Bert Convy in the still photo gives Ken Howard the bunny ears.
I did miss that episode where you're going to talk about Bert Convy and probably just regale us with like all your memories of Tattletales, and also every time he screwed up a puzzle on Super
Oh,
Password.
yeah. Yes!
Which would have literally taken like an hour and a half to cover.
We totally did that, Mike.
Soap. Let's see what we have on the puzzle board. We've got President. Mr. Black. All sorts of sirens go off, and the producer's like, shit, he fucked it up again.
Your internet was going bad, so it ruined that fucking joke, but whatever.
That's exactly what we did, Mike.
For the entire episode?
No, for that 10 minutes where we were talking about Bert Convy.
No, you screwed up then. That should have been the entire episode. Forget the show. You should have just gone through the entire history of every time Bert Convy screwed something up. Tattletales, Super Password, Win, Lose, or Draw. Statue of Liberty. And, they don't have that sound effect on Win, Lose, or Draw, but too damn bad because they brought it over because that's the international sound of Bert Convy screwing up. He gets on Third Degree. They're co-workers in a bakery and they married each other. That's like the international Bert Convy sound. I mean, whatever he does. Yeah, on Tattletales. Oh, let's talk to Charlie Brill and Mitzi McCall. She's a virgin.
I'm so glad we had this long ending for this, just so Mike can talk about all the times Bert Convy effed up. All right, Cal, let's end this.
And